My child is an evil spawn, declared one mother about her 8-year-old son, James, half smiling and half joking. James was diagnosed with ADHD and also displayed symptoms of oppositional defiant disorder. He was also bedwetting, he had stuttering, but he never, not once, ever said, I love you to his mom. As you can imagine, he was a handful. When she said yes, he said no. When she said up, he said no. He would be writhing on the floor, kicking and screaming. Sometimes he punched, sometimes he cursed. His behavior was taking a toll on her and the family, sometimes leaving her in a fetal position, silently sobbing in her anguish and frustration. Mommy's always mad, declared James one day. Mother and son could hardly even look at each other for even a second. This family was falling apart from the inside. And these days, caregiving crumbles under pressure. Moms are busy, they're tired, they're running on empty. And when that happens, kids miss out on the opportunity to learn the most important lesson: how to handle big feelings when everything about our world is scary. What strikes me the most is that sometimes it's the parents who are the source of trauma. Neglect, sexual abuse, excessive fighting and shouting, and over-disciplining that borders on physical and verbal abuse. And this is why it's not a joke. The quality of early caregiving is critically important for the prevention of mental health problems. According to Dr. Bessel van der Kolk in his book, The Body Keeps a Score, childhood trauma, especially exposure to neglect, abuse, and violence, is strongly associated with later delinquent behavior. And the numbers are staggering. 1 in 5 Americans was sexually abused as a child. 1 in 4 was beaten by a parent. 1 in 3 couples experiences physical violence. And every year, 3 million children suffer neglect and abuse. And 1 million require court protection. So here's a question to ponder. Is it behavior or is it mammalian biology? In her books, Carnivore Minds and Elephants on the Edge, Dr. Gay Bradshaw talks about animals and their extremely errant behaviors. From 1991 to 2001, male adolescent elephants were responsible for the mauling, killing, and sexual assault of over 100 rhinos. As infants, they were screaming when their mothers were slaughtered. Then they were tied to their lifeless bodies, relocated to a strange land, and were not raised with male adult elephants to model emotional control. These elephants had unprocessed grief, and their unskilled self-regulation later manifested as murder and rape. Snatched from his mother's side at just 2 years old, Tilikum, the orca, was confined for decades in a tank, and his unprocessed grief became aggression in his adolescent and senior years, ultimately claiming the lives of 3 humans, including one of his beloved trainers. Shot beside her mother, wounded by the same bullet, and torn from her forest home, Wunda, the infant chimp, was sold in the illegal pet trade. Her name means close to death, a haunting reminder of her dismal state, her broken body, her weakened spirit, barely clinging to life after losing everything that made her feel safe. Can we really label behavior as bad or good, right or wrong? I don't condone harm, of course, but I'd like to ask a different question. One that Dr. Bradshaw was asking. Instead of, what's wrong with you? Instead, can we ask, what happened to you? To answer this question, we can look to evolution. Mammals conquer the odds by surviving in groups. A herd of horses, a herd of elephants, a pack of wolves, a pride of lions, a family of humans. And infants never left their mother's side for a long time, for good reason. They are the weakest member in the family, and we all need to protect them. Infants and young children need to belong to someone's safe territory. They need to belong to many someones in order to be safely raised and protected. Territory means safety. It's being nested in a land among your own, where deep social bonds ensure survival. But cut these bonds, and the nervous system activates alarms. Cut them again and again, and survival behaviors emerge. But here's the good news: we can remodel behavior when we restore safe territory again. The brain says yes, and all circuits can go back to green. Kenya's Sheldrick Trust rehabilitates orphaned elephants with a 61% wild survival rate. Once deemed impossible, in 1974, Dame Daphne Sheldrick added coconut milk to her formula that mimicked elephant mother's milk, ultimately saving the lives of orphan calves who before then had a very low survival rate. And in fact, these rehabilitated females would bring back their calves and present them to their former human caregivers. Wunda, the dying infant chimp, recovered in Chimpunga Sanctuary before being released to a forest island. And that moment where she turned to give Jane Goodall a hug was recorded on video. Raw evidence that restoring safe territory can make one whole again. Not only did she become the matriarch of her chimp community, but she also became a mother herself to a male chimp named Hope. James's healing journey began by restoring territory one at a time. We created moments where mother and son can experience physical closeness again. Her arms cradling him while he allowed himself to rest in her embrace. With his father, we created rituals of play and adventure. And we taught him self-regulation techniques that allowed him to navigate the emotional storms when school got really hard. Week by week, I witnessed as this family rebuilt Safe Haven again. Now 10 years old, he no longer displays ADHD, nor defiance, nor bedwetting. In fact, he wants to establish his own territory, being responsible for someone else, taking care of someone else, a crush in school. But for me, the greatest evidence of this family's success is a Valentine's card that I wrote his mom this year. And it said, "Dear Mom, I see all your hard work, so I wanted to write this card just for you. I just wanted you to know that I still love you, even if we fight. I love you from the bottom of my heart, and I will never give up. I promise I will help you in all your troubles, no matter what. I love you, Mom." And just like James, let's never give up. Mothers need all the help they can get from governments, corporations, local and national communities. I dream of a world maternal presence is essential healthcare, not a luxury, where we can form villages of care for newborn parents, where we can have access to parental counseling so the parental bond can be restored over and over again, where neighborhoods can have shared childcare and community bonds can prevent conflicts, where surrogate mother and father figures can step in for the children of single parents, and where bullying at home and in school is taken very seriously, where trauma-informed approaches of care can help guide the raising of human and animal young. When we realize that every child needs a safe nest, and when we all honor our biological role in our territory, we lay the foundation for a peaceful coexistence. The world that I dream of is a world where we all belong to each other. I take care of you, you take care of me. And when we recognize that we all come from one territory, we heal not just the child, not just the elephant, not just the whale, not just the chimp. We heal the earth itself. Thank you.